Thanks for tuning in to more Jets Talk, Jets FM on EOFN, the Our-Lads Football Network, as the New York Jets lose another one to Denver. Actually, we would have recorded this show about 5 or 10 minutes, no, actually 10 or 15 minutes earlier, but for some reason, Robert Saleh kept calling timeouts at the end of the game. Not sure why. Anyway, maybe he's a sadist. Joining me once again is Jan Levine. And Jan, Zach couldn't have played any worse than he did the week before, and he didn't. His numbers might have actually been a little bit better also if Coach didn't call that timeout. But he didn't get any help. The killer was that drive in which Corey Davis dropped the ball at the 5-yard line, followed by the blunder by our temporary punter holder on the field goal. And once that drive was over with the 0 points, you knew the game was over.
Yeah, I mean, I think the game was over irrespective of that moment. But yeah, I mean, pretty much a dud all the way around. I mean, we'll go into it. We'll go into offense. We'll go into defense, special teams. In terms of the timeouts, I think the only thing I can think of is he wanted Wilson to not have the interception be the final play of his night.
That worked.
And try to get a couple of completions.
Yeah.
So that could be about the only reason why I would think that he maybe ended up going that direction. But it was offensively, just they failed all over the place. Defensively, the defense didn't play badly.
Defense again did a decent job.
But they couldn't make stops. Right, every time there was like a third down or a key play, somehow they got guys
no
open,
pass rush,
schemed open,
no
or
pass rush.
anything. No pass rush at all for the most part. Bridgewater, I thought, played a very good game. The running attack with both Gordon and with Williams really blunted the Jets' attack. Why don't we start with the offense? Which was an offensively offensive performance overall, right? So Wilson did not look good. Locked in on receivers, didn't throw guys into open windows, waited for them to get open. I thought Ty Johnson was absolutely horrific, both in pass protection and his stone hands is probably the best way to refer to him this week, because
both running backs were terrible.
Horrible.
Both running backs.
I didn't think Carter played that bad.
Michael Carter dropped the ball right in his hands, which would have led to a huge gain and might have even scored if he held on to the football.
I agree. Right. The post right up the middle, wide open. I agree with you. But I thought both of them didn't play. The offensive line, I don't think, had a particularly good game at all. Wilson was scrambling. He didn't get help from his receivers. Berrios, who had an okay game, had one go off his hands for an interception. You had Corey Davis's inability to catch balls or make difficult catches. Elijah Moore unfortunately got hurt late in the game with a concussion. Like once the game was far out of hand, Tyler Kroft left the game with an injury. The scheme didn't show anything at all. As you said, they had one shot for points that if they had a field goal that actually went through the goalpost that got overturned because of a delay of game penalty. And then Saleh opted to punt as opposed to attempt a 61-yard field goal with the thin air of Denver. Considering how Amendola hit it, it might have been worth a shot just to see if they could get some points. But I'm not sure if you can find really any positives to take out of their offensive performance today.
No, I don't think so. And that's squarely on LaFleur. No question. It's about time people start throwing him some harder questions, and maybe this is going to be the week where one of the articles that'll come out, say, on the Post in the next 24 hours will be about LaFleur. Because let me ask you this. I watched the Green Bay Packers and San Francisco play. Can you name one time this season where we've thrown a screen pass? I mean, a screen pass.
I think he may have tried one today, but the defensive lineman blew it up because the offense didn't block.
Okay, so, and yeah, maybe that's what we did. That is a big part of the supposed offense he's running. You have got to incorporate the screen, the running back out of the backfield, the offensive lineman blocking for him, on the pass rush, especially how many times Denver blitzed. Where is it? Why don't you have a screen? Where's the screen game? I look, when the offense isn't doing anything and the rookie quarterback is struggling, as rookie quarterbacks do, you have to do something. It's up to the coordinator, it's up to the coach, to come up with a different type of game plan. Something where we're, as fans, going, oh, that's interesting. It didn't work, but I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to do something different. And this also means, and whether you want to call out LaFleur or Saleh for this, getting Mims's ass on the field. Because when the same crap doesn't work week in and week out, you have to do something new. And if you've got a guy sitting there, and we heard the press conference this week about Mims, which I think is a load of crap, okay? I don't want to hear this crap about Denzel Mims being the number 5 receiver on the team, because that's basically what he was saying. Denzel Mims is the 5th receiver on the team? I mean, why? Because he got a late start in summer? I mean, come on. I know Mims is going to eventually get his shot. I get it. But when the offense is sputtering, you got to do something different. And he's the one guy that's just sitting there on the bench, is not even playing, is not even active. And you have to use everybody that you possibly can. I think and hope that's what we're going to see next week, especially when we see Teddy Bridgewater constantly throwing the ball up for grabs when the receivers are covered. He gives his receivers an opportunity to catch the ball. Why? Because they're big and they're physical. Well, I know there's a big physical receiver the Jets have. Oh, yeah. They don't play him. He's inactive.
Can't agree with you more, but I actually have a different tact and a different issue. One of the things we talked about is Wilson's ability to make plays, his ability to improvise. That's what I haven't seen the first.
Well, we did see it on Corey Davis's drop.
Yeah, but he right, he got out, but he's not. They seem like they're trying to restrict him so much that they're not letting him use his legs at all.
I agree.
Right? One of the things I'd like to see him do is he recognizes the pressure. He doesn't see anything. He's trying to extend the play. Go, run, get some positive.
Well, why don't you come up with a play to use his legs?
Give them a threat. Run a play action naked leg to try to get some plays. Try to get some free yardage, which they're not getting. Put the defense on their heels so they can't just peel back and rush all the time. That they have to be cognizant of the fact that, oh wait, I need to be careful on my backside rush because I'm going to get burned if I don't, because he's going to go around me. They haven't done that. Or how about a naked bootleg and a guy coming across the middle and hitting a guy?
Absolutely.
Right? He did do that, actually. He had Carter. The one Carter dropped across the middle would have been a huge gain. He had a ton of space up the middle if he catches the ball. Even though it was tipped a little bit, that's a ball that has to be caught. Davis's ball, look, it's a play that you'd like to be made. Is it an easy play? Is it one that's one that but one you'd like to
number one wide receiver,
help your quarterback out. And if you listen to the announcers, they kept remarking how the Jets offensive skill players aren't helping Wilson out. The one thing I will say that I have liked is you haven't seen Wilson get down at all. He has not necessarily moped. He has not pouted. He has not gotten upset. He has not pointed fingers. He's gone back in the huddle. He's called a play and he's attempted to make a play. You haven't seen him lose any kind of his thought process or get upset or down, as I said. You haven't seen him kind of go through motions. He's still trying to get better. He doesn't have the deal. The one thing I do like is he hasn't seemed overwhelmed by the moment. Mm-hmm. He's not having a deer in the headlights. He's not producing. Yes. I don't think any of us can say he is. But what he hasn't done yet, he's not looking I don't know what I'm seeing out there. I don't know what I need to do.
And that's a huge reason why he's here. The huge reason why they drafted him is because they knew, hey, if we're gonna draft a young quarterback and we're gonna throw him to the wolves, can he handle it? Especially in New York. Yep. And they knew he had the makeup to handle it. And look, if the Jets, and we saw Michael Carter start today, I think Jet fans need to, if they haven't already, concede the fact that this is not about this year. And we saw this with the DBs, all the young DBs and such, and now the young running backs with Carter starting today. The Jets are not trying to win. They're just not. They are trying to build up and get these young kids as many reps this year as possible so they can get to become a winning football team. And that's just the way that it's going to be. They're going to live and die with all the young kids. And you just have to live with it. As a Jet fan, you have got to live with that. It's more important to them to lose a game this year than to stunt the growth of a player, which is why Zach Wilson is always going to play. and they're never going to take him out. And it's why Michael Carter's going to keep getting thrown in there, and Elijah Moore's going to keep, and all the other young DBs are going to keep getting thrown in there because it's about the future, and we just have to deal with it.
And that future, Vera Tucker did not have a great game today. Look, as I said before, my viewpoint at this point in time, I know you love Ty Johnson. Just run Carter. I mean, look, he showed some flashes. He had one play where he lost 7 yards. No choice. McGovern got pancaked. He got knocked back into him. He's going to make mistakes, but I'd rather see them go with the young guy, as you said, to see what they have, rather than going with guys who. And Johnson's not a vet per se necessarily. It's the same thing on defenses. I want to see the young guys, right? I want to see the guys, especially on the back end, right? The front end, you can argue they're a little bit more veterans, right? So defensively, I don't know if I'd say it was bend not break. They kept giving up plays on third down. They kept not being able to find a way to get off the field. You had Bridgewater go up top, hit Petrick. As you said, he gave his receiver a chance to make a play. He made a play. He hit Cortland Sutton. He hit Fant. He hit Williams. He hit Gordon. Guys were just open like crazy. The pass rush, Quinn Williams did not have a great game, in my opinion. He was noticeable a couple times, but overall didn't have a great game. John Franklin Myers wasn't great. Mosley had the one tackle on Gordon at the 1 yard line, and the next play they scored a touchdown.
Yeah, Huff's done nothing.
Huff did not much. Carter made a couple of plays. The defensive backfield is nothing to write home about. May, and he got basically had the only time you really heard his name is when he had the hands to the face mask penalty on Gordon on the run to the left side.
I'm actually okay with the Jets DBs because of the fact that in general they're very young, and I'm not seeing them get beat the way they were beat like the last couple of years.
No, I agree. Look, they gave up 26 points.
with the offense doing nothing.
Right, and it wasn't like Denver was basically taking the air out of the game, right? They were trying to score. Maybe late they weren't, maybe the last field goal or two, but the Jets actually played a decent game defensively. Like I said, it was the inability to get off the field on third down. It was on a second and long, giving up chunks of yardage. It was giving up too many chunk, not huge plays, except for the Petrick play down the left sideline, which was a big gain to him, right? And Sutton, he had one big game also. But other than that, it was, I wonder what we call dink and dunk, is Bridgewater took advantage of what the defense gave him, and they gave him a lot of holes. There were swaths of open field where he was able to scramble for 12, 13 yards on a run,
no pass
scramble
rush.
for 8 to 10 yards, get a first down, keep the clock moving, keep the Jets defense on the field. And the Jets, really, they had one shot, I think, at it. I don't even know if they even had any real chances at a shot at a turnover. Maybe one that they missed at most.
Well, they had the one turnover. Who was it that stuck the dude at the
fumble late? I don't remember, but it was late. It was he knocked the ball out of Williams inside the 5 yard line for the fumble, right? They didn't do much in terms of their punt returns. Their coverage was relatively okay. Like I said, Amendola didn't really get a shot. He had one field goal, which he hit, and then it got taken off the board because of the delay game penalty.
And what the hell is Morstead, who's been in the league forever? What is he doing? He's just looking back like this. What are you doing?
I know. Yep.
So you see, this is the thing I also mentioned the other day, is that why you have to think about the future. There's no man. There's no loss. Williams is trying to come back from his injury, who didn't really get a chance to practice. So it's going to take him a while to get going. There's no Becton. I can go down the line. They don't have the talent to match up. And also, let's keep this in mind. Zach had the usual rookie jitters the first half against Carolina. Played really well in the second half. Who's he gone up against the last 2 weeks? Vic Fangio and Bill Belichick. There may not be, and this is, I'm serious. These are probably the two best defensive minds in the game. And he just went up against them the last 2 weeks. So it will get easier. That's why it's a 17-game schedule, because it's about matchups. That's why I still don't want to hear anything about Sam Darnold and that crap of Carolina, because they haven't played anybody. I don't care what happened with the Saints. The Saints were overlooking what happened the week before. So they were a prime letdown candidate. So it's about your schedule early on in the season. And right now, the Jets just did not have a good schedule for Zach, and you got to give him a little bit more time. And the Jets have injuries. But the thing that frustrates me the most, like I said, is I want to see LaFleur start coming up with some cutesy, creative game plan, and I want to see Denzel Mims on the freaking football field. If the Jets are moving the ball, that's different. But when they're not scoring and they're not doing anything, that's when, see, I wish one of the writers would have said that while he's trying to explain these things. Well, coach, don't you think, I mean, you're saying that like if the other guys are putting up big numbers, but nobody's putting up big numbers, so shouldn't you go to another guy? Hopefully, if Moore is out this week, you know what he'll do? Crowder will probably be back, and then we probably don't even see Mims again anyway.
No.
But we'll see Jeff Smith because he's the second gunner.
It's a second-round pick. We need to see what he's like. There's clearly other bits of information, as we know, that have not come out yet. For whatever reason, I don't know whether or not the coaching staff doesn't like him, whether or not there's stuff within the clubhouse, whether or not stuff in the locker room, who knows. But the one thing I will say that you also that we didn't touch on, Trevor Lawrence, loss, right? Zach Wilson, loss. Justin Fields, loss. Mac Jones, loss. All 4 rookie quarterbacks, all 4 of them got taken to school for the most part this week. I think Jones threw 3 picks. Justin Fields, that offense was offensive, to say the least. I thought, if you think our offense was bad, Chicago made our offense look like it was a world beater, right? And Trevor Lawrence didn't have a particular good game. And the 4 of them combined were sacked 18 times today. So it's the growing pains of a young quarterback. But with New England, you saw what Jones can do in the past. With Jacksonville, you've seen what Lawrence can do in the past. We saw what Wilson can do a little bit in week 1. What hurt us this week is we seem to regress again off of what happened. New England was horrible last week. You can argue we were a bit better, but as you said, we're not getting chunk plays. We're not making big plays. We're not moving the ball. We're not creating offense. More importantly, we're not creating interest. It's vanilla.
Oh, yeah, it's boring. It's unwatchable.
It's like watching paint dry now. Watch them. No, again, there are other teams in the league that have similar issues, and young quarterbacks are going to struggle. But like I said, the one thing that you do have to like is that Wilson didn't get his head down. He didn't mope. He didn't pout. He was getting them into plays. He was changing plays at the line to a certain extent every once in a while. But what I want to see is the improvisational. You mentioned the play to Davis, and that's because he was running for his life. But hey, give him a chance to use his legs. Let him get out of the pocket. Let him create open space. Let him put the defense on their heels. Right now, they're on their heels all the time. They're reacting as opposed to forcing a reaction, which is the thing I don't want to see. I want to see them creating not necessarily havoc, but forcing the defense to adjust to them as opposed to the inverse. That's the way it's supposed to be. We're not seeing that at all.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of Jet fans that have criticized the coaching staff, deservedly so, the past few years. And I'm not talking about Saleh, but you want to start, if you want to criticize some of the other coaches, it's time to start criticizing the coaches they have now, meaning LaFleur. So give him because that's all we heard about the offense the last few years, Gase this and Gase that. And well, this offense is worse right now. I mean, I see no ingenuity. I see nothing. And remember in the Carolina game when Zach made that great play where he ran to his right and he chucked the ball 60 yards? What did Elijah Moore do? He dropped the ball.
Yep.
So twice Zach has made big plays with his legs, thrown the ball down the field for big potential gainers, and his receivers let him down. So
skilled players have to help the quarterback. That's has not been the case. Now, granted, don't know if that would have made a difference necessarily today, but at least you would have gotten points on the board, and that's a moral victory. I get it, but be interesting, make things interesting.
Yeah.
Right now, they're going back. He's looking. The problem is he's locking on his first receiver. He's looking at Davis too often, in my opinion, at times. But it's that locking on the first receiver and not throwing guys into open windows, right? The couple plays he had, the interception, he would have thrown it right away. He probably would have completed one of them, right? But he's waiting. He needs to throw it quicker, and that'll come with experience, right? That's just a rookie quarterback adapting to the speed of the NFL. But they need to give him quick options, right? Throw a quick screen pass, throw a wide receiver screen, hit the tight end on a slant pattern across the middle, create space with your legs, run a misdirection and try to get a guy flaring out of the backfield. do something to try to create some mismatches or create some open space to give him a chance to use the legs or the improvisational skills he had, which is what attracted you to drafting Wilson to a certain extent anyway.
And what they have to do is they have to get Crowder back on the field for at least a week or two so they could trade him. Because there is no way Jamison Crowder is going to be on this team next year. And you got to trade the guy. You have to. You have to get something out of him. So get him in get him on the field for a couple of weeks. Then you could trade him, and then we'll see what happens down the line with the rest of this team because we have to get Ashton Davis back. He hasn't played much. I mean, They got this Colbert guy playing. I mean, he wasn't even anywhere near the team until 2 weeks ago, and now he's playing all these reps in the defensive backfield. So, we got to get Ashton Davis healthy. That'll be important. And who knows, maybe we'll see a surprise trade or two before the deadline. But the bottom line is no matter what they do with the personnel, the coaching staff, especially in offense, has to do a better job. We'll talk about that next week. Jan, appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be able to talk hockey sometime soon.
That would be a lot better than talking Jets football these days at this point in time.
For now, yes. For now,
look,
it's a long season.
We both said before the year 5 or 6 wins, right? That was I wouldn't say goal, but that was the expectation.
Sure.
What I will say that number has probably changed a little bit. I mean, you would thought, look, you figured New England was a loss.
Oh no, you still at
Denver
this point think 0-3, yeah. So
right. So you kind of figured Carolina maybe an outside shot at a win, but likely. I mean, 0-3 is not outside the realm of where we expected to be right now. Where we expected them to be necessarily.
Still get 4 wins right now, probably 4 or 5 wins. So
but you want to see improvement, right? That's kind of. The bigger goal right now is not to go from Carolina and work your way downwards, just to go from Carolina and have an ascension.
No, so that hasn't happened yet.
Nope,
and that'll be an awkward conversation too when you hire your best friend, your best man brother to be your coordinator, and he doesn't do a good job. What do you do?
Right. Yep,
so
agreed.
He's gonna. I don't care what kind of friendship he has. Start lighting a fire under his ass and get this offense moving a little bit so we can at least have, because like you said, it doesn't matter. Even if we lost today, you want to see something. You got to see something, score a touchdown, 10 points, give us something positive to look at and to talk about next week. All right. Anyway, 0-3, and we'll talk more football once again next week. Jan, appreciate it as always.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.